Okay, now we are done with what? We're pretty much done with we're done with this part 1 of 3, right? Now let's take a look at the next part. Okay, so basically this is the answers, right? So I think I want you to follow this, right, all the way. Okay, now the next part is the customer number 5 has a total of about 500, right? 500,000 addresses. Now use a Class B address to chart the breakdown the sub-network addresses for their different clients. At this stage, the problem you are creating subnets with the third octet of the IP address, right? So this is important, third octet. Okay. So what it means is the problem number 2, right? So this is, okay, the problem number 2 is given this. So this is the network address, right? This is what? This is customer number 5, right? This is the customer number 5, right? So assuming that, let's say this customer number 5 is called Internet Service Provider XYZ. Okay, so that's your customer name, the Internet Service Provider XYZ, right? And then let's say, so this is your customer, ISP XYZ. So okay, so for example, let's say we have this IP address space, right? In part number 1, right? Like, you know, with like for the class A, right? Class A, this is like 8 million, and then this is like a little bit smaller, right? 2 million, and then 2 million, right? And then 1 million is small, right? So this is like 8 million, 2 million, 2 million, right? And 1 million, right? And then what? Finally, 0.5 million, right? So this is like a 0.5 million, 500,000, right? And this IP address space will be given to whom? ISP XYZ. Okay? So the Internet Service Provider XYZ, you know, they have their own business, right? And so we are right now, we're going to work on this. We are working on this address space, which is about 500,000, right? So now the part B, right, is with this 500,000 IP address space, right? And Internet Service Provider ISP XYZ have their clients. How many clients they have? They have 9 clients, and these are the requirements. Okay. So so part number 2 is that we are going to divide, right? We are going to divide this yellow network. So let's see. So this is what? This is the yellow network, right? And for the yellow network space, how many of them? We have about 500,000 network space, right? This yellow. And then this internet, so this is the ISP XYZ, right? And they have their own clients, right? So the clients number 1, clients number 2, and client number 3, and etc., right? And then for the client number 1, the requirement is what? How many? 7,500 IP address space. So for the client 1, for the client number 1, about this many IP address, right? Okay. So now, so let's just divide this network, and that's why if you look at this problem, and that's why they call it sub network. Okay, this is the reason. Okay, so for example, right? This is what? This is a subnet, right? Subnetwork. And this is another subnetwork, right? But this one, right? This one we'll call it subnetwork, because we are dividing this into many different pieces. You know, for the clients, of ISP XYZ, right? And that's why it's called sub network, right? Okay, so what is given? Okay, so the problem number 2, right? Part 2. Okay, so now the part 2. Let me just copy this. Oops. Copy. Okay, so the problem number part B is okay, so problem number 5. Oops. Okay, the problem number 5 is given this, right? Given this network, right? We are going to apply the VLSM on this address space, right? This yellow space. Okay. First, it's what, 70. The first client number 1, right? If you look at this requirement, right? The client number 1 requires this many IP addresses, right? 75, 100. So if you look at the first of all, right, if you look at the class A address chart, the /15 is what? Still, it's like, it's more than what? This is huge number, right? /15, what? 131,000. This is like really big number, right? So immediately by looking at this requirement, we know that we have to use a class B IP chart by looking at this number of addresses immediately. Okay, and okay, so now, so if you look at the class B, 75,000, right? So what? /18 is 16,000. That's too big. Yeah, /19 is, I think, is the right size because it's 8,000, right? And /20 is 4,000. So 4,000 is obviously smaller than 75. So I think the /19 is the right size, right? Because they can accommodate about 8,000 hosts. Okay, so /19. And so we know that we have to use what? We know that we have to use this address space, right? 0 to 31, right? And then, okay, so and then this, since right now we are using what class B address chart, we know that we have to manipulate third octet, right? So which is this octet, third octet, right? So the first, let's say now we are working on the ISP XYZ, right? And then for the client, right, requirement is this many, right? So we know that my starting point is this, right? This is my starting point, right? And then all the way to what? 15.208. What? 31, right? And then the last one is 255. It's not 0, right? Because last one is 255. And then this is what? /19, right? Is that right? Yeah, /19. Okay. Okay, now the next requirement is what? Next requirement is 5,000, right? So the 5,000 is what? /what? Let's see. This one, /20. So I need to use this guy. And 32 to 47, right? And for this, okay, so if I just add +1 here, right? Obviously, next one is going to be what? 15.208. What? 32, right? 15.208.0, and then 15.208 dot, what is it? I forgot. 47. Okay. The 47.255, right? Slash 20, right? Okay. And the next requirement is what? 45, right? 45. And then let's see. Hold on. Client 8. Okay. Okay, the next one is a 45, right? So the 45, hold on. Yeah, 45, right? 4,500. Okay, so 45 and hold on. Is that right? Oops, you know what? I made a mistake. I'm sorry. This is 45, right? So 45, and obviously slash 20 is too small because it's up to 40, and what I need is 45. So I'm sorry, this is my mistake. So this should be what? Still, I mean, this is like a 40, and then what I need is 45. So what I need is still this block. Yeah, right? 31 to 63, yes. So it's my mistake, sorry. And so 63, right? So I'll just change it to 63. 19, same block size, and then what? 30. Oops, what is it? 63, right? Okay. And the next one is what? Next one is 45, right? 45. No, hold on. Did I? Okay. The 50. Hold on. No, hold on. I'm confused. Hold on. Let's see. This. Okay. So I'm sorry. So the client number 2 is a 50,000, right? I mean the 5,000, right? So it's this block, and then the next one is 45. So I was confused. Sorry. Next one is a 40,000, and then what? And then still, right? Still, I need to have a same block size, right? So 45 with the 45, I still need to have a same block size because slash 20 only like can hold up to around 4,000. So 95, right? It's 95. 64.095, right? 95.255, and the same block size, right? Okay, so the next requirement, right? Next requirement is what? 2,000. Okay. So next requirement is 2,000. And that one is 208. That when I just add one more, it's going to be 96, right? So 96.0 all the way to 15,208, right? And 2,000. So let's see. Yes, then this one. 2,000. Right. Hold on. Is that this slash 21 can hold 2,048? So maybe, yeah. Maybe this is too big. So with the 2,000, right? I should use this one because it can up to 2,048, right? So this definitely is greater than 2,000. So I can use this 103. Okay. So I can use 103. And then this is what? This is slash 21, right? Let's see. Okay. So you can actually keep going, right? 103 and slash 21. Okay, so you can just keep going, right? By the way, any question up to this point? So any question? Okay. So I think you can do the rest, and then here is the solution, right? But let me just finish writing this down. Okay, so let me just finish writing this down, this solution. Okay. Okay, and then what? 2000, and then this is what? This is client number 4, and then client number 5, and then we have client number 6, and then we have client number 7, and then we have client number 8, right? So now let's take a look at the client number 8. Client number 8 requirement is 750 IP addresses, and then starting with the 15.208.124.0 all the way to 15.208.127.255/22. Okay, so this is the 8th clients, right? This is 8th clients. Okay, and so we are done with this part B. Okay, so in the next part, right, part number 3, and client 8 has total of 1024 addresses, right? And I think /22, right? With the /22, basically client 8 can have 22, right? /22, yeah, 1024, yes. So with the /22, theoretically, this client 8 can has up to what? 1024 hosts, right? And in the next problem, we're gonna work on this IP address space. Okay, so let's take a 1-minute break.